Show on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, today's new drug. You know what today's new drug is? Same shirt.
That's right.
We kind of, we are.
Welcome to the Ohio State Buckeye Show.
We're kind of stepbrothers.
Yeah, we are.
Oh, I wouldn't have to tell that if we weren't on TV. We're on camera now.
That's
we
right.
stream now. So if you're wondering why Hayes and I have the exact same Buckeye shirts on, we don't really know why. It just kind of happened. So there's that. Our same 1010XL shirts on. How you doing? You all right?
I'm doing great.
Man, it was hot today. Now it's raining. I almost want to go run out in the rain.
That would be
fun. It was freaking hot today now. I mean, I know, is it me or do we have a really cold winter followed by a really hot summer? Is that a thing? That it usually happens like that?
I don't know
if
I'm
old
qualified to answer that, but I would say that was it a cold? I thought it was more of a mild winter.
Oh, I agree.
A cold winter?
You didn't think it was a cold winter?
No.
Not at all.
Now, 2 years ago, we had a miserable winter.
Then maybe my wimpiness could be just jumping into it.
Yeah, I think this winter was pretty mild.
I felt like it stayed cold for a long time.
Check
the Doppler.
My Farmer's Almanac says that it wasn't too bad, but it has been record heat all over the state.
Yes,
I had no idea that
hot today.
I would have figured Tampa, Florida gets to 100 degrees at least every so often.
Right.
But they're setting records with triple-digit numbers. Obviously, it's been very hot here as well.
Our pool is like bathwater.
Yeah, that's how ours was too. I got in at one in our neighborhood, and it was like, wow, this is like warmer than bathwater.
Yeah, it was that way.
Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah, it's still wet, by the way. By the way, it's still better than not being in the pool.
It was still refreshing.
Yeah, so still that. Right, fun things to talk about today. Glad you're with us on the program today. We'll talk some Jaguars football. They hit again today, second day of contact. I have noticed that it's contact, but it's really not like contact used to be. I was on with Mike and Tony on Jaguars today. We were talking about that. Contact used to be people getting hit, people forgetting not to tackle to the ground, a fight every 20, 30 minutes. And I'm not saying it's bad that it's not that way. It's good that it's not. But the only difference I see, and this isn't just a Jaguar thing, but Jaguars are the practices we're going to. The only difference I see is that they've got pads on. There's not much difference.
And even then, they really just wear spiders.
Yeah.
They don't really wear the full, like the leg pads.
But are you noticing that there's less contact in today's football in padded practices than I can ever remember? I mean, that I could ever remember.
I would agree. I've only covered the NFL since 2013, and I think that CBA that was ushered in a year before then, I think took a lot of it out. So my time covering the Jaguars it's always been pretty light. Like I remember even like Gus Bradley in 2013, the first training camp I covered, they only went live like one period in that entire training camp. And Justin Forsett got hurt, and the running back, and he was a reserve at the time. And so, I mean, honestly, in the however many years now, I mean, I don't recall seeing more than, I think I can count as many live period tackling sessions in a training camp practice probably on one hand, because there certainly have been years where there was no live tackling throughout camp. I think Peterson's first year, maybe they didn't do live tackling. Second year did for a period, maybe at like goal line, I want to say. And then I don't think they got to it last year. And again, this could be wrong, but that's just sort of what I remember. But yeah, you don't see it. So we get excited about it. It's more physical than if they didn't have pads on. But yeah, you don't see a lot of massive contact like you will once you get into a regular season game. At least not to this. So, I mean, again, they've only been in it 2 days.
And that's not.
It could still escalate.
Yeah, and that's not a Jaguars thing. That's It's not even just NFL. It's a football thing.
Well, yeah. I mean, we all follow NFL beat writers from the other 31, and we follow national, reporters as well. And you don't ever see somebody tweet, my God, they are killing each other in this practice. Boy, safety guy really blew up wide receiver guy on that play. You used to see that all the time. Right. And then the coach would lecture him and, hey, we're teammates. Remember, you never see that. And again, I'm not complaining. It's probably better
It's just very different than what we've grown accustomed to watching football and watching football practice.
It is amazing that they used to do 2-a-days and both practices would be full on contact, tackling to the ground, and you just the contracts are too expensive now to risk your stars getting hurt.
Yeah, and again, the CTE, learning more about CTE had a lot of a lot to do with that, and I guess that's a very sad segue to the gunman story in New York. Boy, was that a bizarre story, that a gunman was targeting apparently the NFL office. Wasn't that wild?
Absolutely wild. And, thank goodness he didn't know which floor to get off of. And obviously it's a tragedy. 4 people died. It sounds like, though, it could have been much worse. And, it's just, unfortunately, these stories can't be surprising because, unfortunately, it's become a fabric of the society we live in.
Yeah, it really
you
is.
just you never know where it's going to happen next.
No, you're exactly right. So, all right, a lot of things to talk about. We'll talk about some good things today on the program. We'll talk about Jaguar practice, where we think. I want to talk about the Jaguars defense. We talked a lot. The offense is more fun to talk about. There's storylines. They've rebuilt their offensive front. Is this the year that Trevor takes a step forward? The receiving room, to me, looks really good. De'Ami Brown had a terrific practice
Absolutely.
today. I mean, he was the star of the practice today. And I think the running backs room is deep, so that's been fun. I think, by the way, and I wanted it to happen more than once or twice, Hunter Long has showed up a few times.
Yeah,
have you noticed that?
Yeah, nice play today.
I mean, he had a nice play today on that touchdown, but he also has had he showed up. He has showed up. So Johnny Munt and Hunter Long are just 2 names that they signed in free agency, but along with Brenton Strange, are really trying to improve the tight end room. But can the defense be good? That's the question. Can the defense be good? I think we both think that I think most people think the 2 pass rushers can be special in the right circumstance. They've got one of the best tacklers in the league in their middle linebacker. They have paid a cornerback. They signed a few free agents in the secondary. But I don't know. They got a brand new coordinator, Anthony Campanile, that everybody feels excited about. Can the defense be good? I mean, I'll do a little deeper dive into that after the break. But in your opinion, can the defense be decent?
I would say decent is more of a realistic expectation than good. I don't think they'll be good. If you're defining good by being, let's say, top quadrant, so top 8 in most statistical categories.
Can't get there.
I would be surprised if they're able to do that. But could they be, right around somewhere between 15 and 17, right about average, decent?
So you think?
I think that is probably their ceiling.
You think the ceiling's middle of the pack?
That's what I would guess.
I really wonder, because I will say this. You only play 11 guys, all right? Of the 11, you've got 2 pretty damn good players in your pass rushers. I wish there was more depth there, but and I hope Emmanuel Ogbah gives that. But I think Josh Hines, Allen, Trayvon Walker are pretty good players. I think Foye Oluokan's a really good player. People might be mixed on him. It was a travesty, the fact that they made him play outside last year when he's the leading tackler in the league as a middle linebacker. I think he's a really good player. I really believe that. I think Tyson Campbell could be a star. I think he needs to find the ball better, but he's a very good coverage guy. They brought in 2 veterans who I think are going to have good years. I think Eric Murray and Jordan Lewis are going to be good players. They've played a lot of football. I may be wrong about that, but I feel good about those 2 players, Jordan Lewis and Eric Murray. I feel good about Tyson Campbell. I feel good about Foye Oluokan, and I feel good about the 2 defensive ends. That's a handful of pretty good players. Now, how good are you the other parts? If you're not good at the other corner, it doesn't matter. The other corner meaning if Jordan Lewis is a nickel, who's the other outside corner. If you're not good at the other safety, and I have no idea who's going to play that because they've rotated a bunch of guys in and out of there. I'm a big Ventrell Miller fan. I think, in my mind, he's appreciably better than the guys with whom he's competing, and Devin Lloyd and Chad Muma. But I wonder if Ventrell can stay on the field. But I do. I think there's a lot of. I really wonder. And one of the most important positions that we haven't talked about is that defensive tackle spot. We're going to hear from Davon Hamilton today, the subject of your one-on-one. But is he back to full speed? Eric Armstead, is he going to factor in that 3 technique? Does Mason Smith, who's been down for a bit, is he going to factor in? That's the most intriguing. If you can answer that question, you'd have a better idea. One thing Urban Meyer said, you can criticize Urban all you want. One of the first things he said when he got to town was, If your defensive line's good, your football team's good. And that, by the way, is true. I've always said this. I say it more about college football, but it's true in the NFL too. In college football, give me a quarterback and a good D-line. Okay, you give me quarterback and D-line, I'm going to be pretty good in college football now. You give me a quarterback that's going to get drafted. Give me a first or second round quarterback and give me a D-line that's got a couple of those high draft picks. You know what I just gave you? I might have given you Alabama. I might have just given you LSU in 19. You know, I might have just given you Florida in 08 and 09, right? I mean, so give me quarterback and D-line, right, in college. Well, in the NFL, it's a gigantic factor too.
Yeah, without a doubt. And, again, it is a concern, I would say. I think it's fair to say that, you don't have Mason Smith out there. Eric Armstead is being brought along glacially slow in this training camp, I think, to preserve him. And there's still a long ways before the Carolina Panthers roll in to get him ready. But, he's not doing much right now. And you've got Davon Hamilton. Liam Cohen sort of highlighted his importance, when he was asked about him yesterday and said, he needs to play well, obviously. Like, we all know that because there isn't that much there. We'll see about, Jordan Jefferson,
Jordan Jefferson.
Yeah. And see what he can do. But it doesn't seem to be a lot of great buzz. Yeah, again, they've been in past 2 days.
That's right.
But so I think it's very fair to question what they have in the interior defensive line, and it's if they're not good there, then that's going to really limit Hines Allen and Walker on the edge. If the quarterback has to be nervous about what's coming straight at him, and if the opponent feels like your D tackles are not going to get much of a push, it gives the quarterback a comfort there that you just can't allow if you're going to try and stop them.
And so it'll be interesting to see. So let's take a break. Let's start with the defense, and let's start with one of those defensive linemen we talked about. Davon Hamilton was so good a few years ago, contracted an illness that shelved him for a while. He's over that now. Can he go back to being that terrific nose guard? Certainly Josh Hines Allen called him one of the better nose guards in the league. Can he be that, and how important that is? We'll take a break. We'll start with some Jaguars defense after this. It's 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show. From the Harrell and Harrell studio, don't settle for less than you deserve.
Could someone talk to me? When I'm driving, I got a guy on the radio who talks to me. I can't see him, but he talks to me.
1010XL.
This is Jennifer Marion at Randy Marion Cadillac. Are you ready to drive away today in luxury? Then you should check out Randy Marion Cadillac, Southside Boulevard in Jacksonville.
Discover our luxurious lineup with over 100 Cadillacs to choose from, including the stunning Cadillac IQ, Lyriq, Optique, and Vistique.
And here's something important. The $7,500 tax credit on EV vehicles will be gone in just 90 days.
That's right. Don't miss your chance to save while driving in style.
Visit us at Randy Marion Cadillac.
Plus tax type Title 999 admin fee and resist all on approved credit.
In a world where chains seem to take over, it's awesome to have a locally owned retailer who's only focused on Jacksonville. Beard's Diamonds is your example. Hicken here, all those other jewelers in the town center, they're owned by big Wall Street companies. Beard's Diamonds, local. Man, the Lupos have been serving our area for more than 40 years, and Beards run circles around the big chains. They got a massive diamond inventory, all shapes and sizes, all the top bridal brands. Beards has the strongest warranties, and if you ever did have an issue, you can deal directly with the owner, not layers of middle managers. Beards wins on price every day. Most importantly, they don't have extra markups to please Wall Street or pay commission salespeople. In fact, Beards guarantees to beat any national chain store on price. Don't buy anywhere until you get a second opinion at Beards. I'm sure you'll get a bigger, better quality diamond for your money, and it'll be backed by local folks with integrity and local accountability. Don't buy a diamond in Jacksonville without seeing your best option at Beards Diamonds at the St. John's Town Center.
I'm Holt Harrell with Harrell & Harrell. Choosing a law firm after an accident is an important decision. So how do you decide? With so many messages on air, I know it can all sound the same. At Harrell & Harrell, we believe what sets us apart is our commitment to you. When you've been injured in an accident, you need help from someone you know, someone you can trust. Harrell & Harrell, a name you know, a name you trust. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Offices, Jacksonville.
Lauren Brooks here from Helmets and Heels. Circa Resort and Casino has 2 epic pro football contests.
Circa Million, and Circa Survivor. Circa Million, pick 5 games weekly against the spread for $1 million grand prize. Circa Survivor, 1 pick a week, no spread. Last one standing wins $15 million. Enter at any Circa in Nevada, play anywhere. Sign up for either and get 50% off a 2-night stay. Helmets and Heels will be live from Circa in Vegas on August 22nd. Full contest details at circasports.com and the 1010XL homepage.
Got a clogged drain that just won't quit? It's time to bring in the pros. Duck Duck Rooter.
I called Duck Duck Rooter for a clogged kitchen drain. They showed up fast and had it cleared in no time. No mess, no stress.
We've seen it all. Grease clogs, hairballs, mystery goo from the deep. Whatever's blocking your pipes, we'll get it flowing again. Call 904-862-6769 now to schedule your drain cleaning service. That's 904-862-6769 or online at duckduckrooter.com. When you're stuck, call the duck.
What's the weekend in sports look like? I'm 1010XL's Dan Hicken, and I'll give you my takes and weekend updates on YouTube and Facebook. Musings with the media mogul. That's right, motivated by Tucker Equipment Rentals in Neptune Beach.
Rick Ballou for Coy Dental. That's right, Carlson Dental is now Coy Dental. Dr. Lee has been practicing there for 9 years, has purchased the company. The Coy Dental team still has the same great dentists and staff. And remember, if you get nervous visiting a dentist, don't. There's never a problem at Coy Dental with light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation for all your restorative needs. Coy Dental, 2 locations in Jacksonville.
Hey, Googans, Hicken here, and I just want to once again give you this very simple reminder. Wear sunscreen. If you're outside a lot, bring the screen. Put some in your truck, on your boat, in your golf bag, whatever, wherever, just use it. Please. It's hot out there, and I just want you to protect yourself. I use it like it's cool because I think it is. But what's not cool, that's skin cancer. You don't want to deal with that. Go get yourself checked out. It could save your life. Go to beachesdermatology.com and schedule your appointment today. That's beachesdermatology.com.
Hey, I'm Tony from Tony D's Pizza. People ask me all day long, is it the water that makes the difference? Well, yes and no. Even water can't make a good pizza. It's the ingredients, too. The best tomatoes, the best flour, and the best cheese. Oh, and a lot of love. Tony D's New York Pizza, Bay Meadows and 295.
The 2025 NFL season is just around the corner, and we can't wait for you to be back at the bank. Your Jacksonville Jaguars are starting off the preseason going head-to-head with the Pittsburgh Steelers Saturday, August 9th. Be at the bank as the Jags take the field for the first time this season and grab your tickets for a 7 p.m. kickoff by going to jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. We'll see you soon, Jags fans.
The SEC and the ACC will face off in Jacksonville at the 81st TaxSlayer Gator Bowl game December 27th at 7:30 p.m. Join us for Saturday night football in prime time at the bank. Preferred locations and pricing available now at TaxSlayerGatorBowl.com.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Want to grow your hair back?
IHRS, right here in Jacksonville, is the only hair transplant clinic in the Southeast to offer multi-unit hair grafting and the 45-minute PRP treatments. Grow your hair back. Call now for a free in-person evaluation. 904-777-IHRS, 904-777-4477, or visit hairforme.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Nimnick Tuesday on The Frangie Show. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941.
I sure appreciate my friends from Nimnick. Been buying my cars there a long time. Maybe not 1941, but 1982. That's a long time ago. So when I bought the first car by myself, Billy Nimnick Jr. showed me how to buy a car, how to establish credit. I was just out of college. I had no idea what I was doing. And what a good man he was. And now his son, Billy III, runs the joint. Billy does a great job. He and his brother Lee. Nimnick Chevrolet's on Cassett. Nimnick Buick GMC is on Phillips Highway. I think the name you know by now. You've heard me talk about it enough. You want an automobile, car, truck, SUV, new or used, you want it at Nimnick. Head to Nimnick today. My goodness, do they do a terrific job. Always proud to talk to you on a Nimnick Tuesday here on the program. We talked a little bit about the Jaguars' defensive line before we went to break. Can the line be good in the interior? That's the question. It's the one area that they really didn't address a whole lot in free agency and the draft. It seems like every other position I mean, literally every other specific position the Jaguars addressed. They did not do much at defensive tackle. They've got young tackles in Mason Smith and Tyler Lacey and Jordan Jefferson, 3 young players that they have drafted and they have high hopes for, and that they truly do. They've got a veteran in Eric Armstead at the 3 technique. So they've got some pieces. But maybe the most important piece, certainly one of them, is their nose guard. Davon Hamilton, a big physical 2-gapper that really was coming into his own a few years ago, had a little bit of a health setback, and is trying to bounce back from that. He is really important to this defense. Is he ready to go? He was the subject of this Hayes Carlyon one-on-one.
We are pleased to be joined with Jaguars defensive tackle Davon Hamilton here on 1010XL 92.5 FM. Man, it's great to see you. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Doing well.
Good reps today. How'd you feel like it went for you?
I felt like it went pretty well. I mean, I definitely challenged one another out there, and it's pretty solid practice for us.
Liam said something interesting yesterday. Said he can tell you're locked in, really loves your demeanor, and says when you stay rooted with that back flat, good things happen. What's it been like getting to get used to Liam, and also how do you feel like Davon it's going getting used to the scheme?
I mean, honestly, I feel like Liam's a very positive influence on our team right now. You know, he's a great head coach from what I know right now. He just brings a different level of energy for us. So,
you've seen a lot of things here going into your 6th year. How does this administration feel different in a positive way from maybe others?
I mean, for the most part, we really home in on like just communication, respecting one another, and ultimately pushing each other to be better every single day, and in a respectful way. You know what I mean? So that's really the main difference.
I'm sure you saw Josh Hines-Allen's comments to us the other day. Said you're the best nose in the game. What'd you take out of that kind of level of confidence from a teammate?
I mean, that's what I strive to be. You know, that's what I plan on putting on film this whole season. So I'm excited.
In terms of, I mean, you're going into your 6th year, 28. You feel like you're hitting the peak of your career?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still climbing, man. That's always the goal, but yeah, of course.
What are things that you're specifically working on this time of year, Davon?
I mean, just all technique for the most part. I mean, that's just pretty much the position I play, and you got to be technically sound, got to have your eyes right. So I'm just focusing on those little small details that's going to end up making plays during the season.
Talk about Coach Campbell. How has he helped in terms of running the room?
He just brings the energy, man. He's a different type of cat, but also just very lovable guy, you know. I mean, love being around him, love what he's teaching us, love how he comes out like meetings and whatnot. So,
well, I was talking to Walker Little yesterday, and he said something interesting. He said that he can tell a difference in the D-line, that Campanelli's scheme is hard to prepare for from an offensive lineman standpoint. Have you heard that from those guys on that side of the ball?
For sure. I mean, we just bring a lot of looks, a lot of different movements, a lot of different communication. So, yeah, it definitely challenges them every single day, which they bring out the same type of looks for us, and it's challenging for us to kind of combat those. So it's just kind of on battle back and forth.
What have you seen out of Josh Hines-Allen? I mean, he looks like he's in terrific shape, but what have you seen out of him as a player?
Just stepping up as a leader more so for us, and just being the dog he is, man. I mean, every single day he brings it. Every single day he's trying to motivate another person to bring it a little bit more, including myself. So I appreciate him a lot.
And what kind of strides you seen out of Trayvon?
Same thing. You know, he's stepping up into his role as being another leader on our team, especially across from Josh. You know, that's a dominant duo for us, for the Jaguars defense. But, yeah, he's doing a lot, communicating a lot. It's fun to be around.
The strength and conditioning program seems like it's been elevated. We obviously saw that on the Hunt with the Iron Jaguar games. What was that like being a part of that?
It was pretty fun, honestly. I mean, you're getting your work in and whatnot, but you're also having fun doing it. So, I mean, it definitely took away from the grind of it, like, mentally, you know what I mean?
Davon Hamilton, thank you so much for your time. Best of luck to you.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, appreciate Davon Hamilton. Really hot day out there, particularly for a big guy. So appreciate him taking some time with the media. That was brought to you by Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors. And Davon Hamilton, again, at 28, that's sort of a theme. I mean, this is, even their old players aren't really old players. Like, Armstead's really the only, I'd say, old player for NFL standards. Maybe somebody's escaping my mind, but
you're right.
But I mean, if you're 28, I mean, you still should have some upside, particularly when you have gone through such a random medical issue like Davon Hamilton did. And again, he's made 44 starts in this league. He played a career high 626 defensive snaps last year. So, I think from a durability standpoint, he proved last year that he's back. Now it's, can he elevate and show those flashes that led to him getting a fairly lucrative second contract here?
And I'll say this, Hayes, in any level of football, it's cliche, but cliches tend to be true. If someone can't run on you, boy, it helps you play defense in every other way. If you can stop the run, and I know I didn't even use the phrase "stop the run" because that phrase is so cliche, and I'm trying to avoid the cliche nature of my comment. That's not my intention. But goodness gracious, if they can't run on you, man, it makes it hard to do anything against you. And he's a big part of that. Foye Oluokun's a big part of that. Whoever wins that other linebacker job, I still think Ventrell Miller's the second best linebacker on the football team. I believe that. He's got to stay healthy. I have him in my mind ahead of Devin Lloyd, although Devin Lloyd looks good this year. I'll say this. Devin Lloyd looks like he's in good. He took the struggles last year seriously, got himself in really good shape, lost a lot of weight, and so he's moving better than I can remember him moving. Boy, if you can stop the run, which is why Jordan Jefferson, a guy nobody talks about, but in all practical purposes, he's the backup nose guard. I mean, he's the other guys. When they drafted Mason Smith, it was a guy that could do both. He wasn't just a three technique. He was a guy that could play either, but he's evolved into a three technique, which is his primary spot, which is also what Eric Armstead is. Tyler Lacey's a guy that could play either side, I think, but he's still undersized for a nose guard.
That would concern me over any length of time.
Yeah, he's not 330. He's what, 285, 290 probably. So, but boy, that's a big. It's not the sexy part. It's not the fun part to talk about. The fun part to talk about is Brian Thomas Jr. making a double move on somebody and scoring a touchdown because he beat a guy by 5 yards. That's the fun part. But if you can win the trenches defensively, man, boy oh boy, that's a big thing.
Yeah, particularly in this division. I mean, Jonathan Taylor is still in Indianapolis. We'll see about Joe Mixon in Houston with the foot injury, how effective he can be, and we'll see if the Titans can muster up a ground game in year two without Derrick Henry there. But yeah, I mean, obviously it's got to start there, and too often it has failed. When you look at the Jaguars' yards per carry compared to the opponent's yards per carry, those two numbers have been way too far apart these last couple of years. It's a big reason why they have struggled like they have for the last year and a half on the field.
Yeah, I've been saying this consistently. I would be roundly surprised if their offense isn't better on every front. I'm starting to like the tight end room, even though it's not a lot of guys that have been stars. We said it's Hunter Long's continues to make plays. Everybody has high hopes for Brenton Strange as the starting tight end and move tight end now, which is what he is. They went out and got Long and Johnny Munt. So, the receiving room is good. Thin, Hayes, but good. The running back room is deep and good. They certainly did all they could, I believe, to make the offensive line better. And Trevor Lawrence is starting his fifth year. Oh, and by the way, an accomplished play caller will be running the offense. So there's every reason to believe they're going to score some points. I hope they can stop teams. I really do. I found myself thinking more and more about that the last few days. Can they find a way to stop people?
Well, and again, if the quarterback, again, Foye Oluokun, talked about this today, and he's right because he emphasized, the importance in stopping the run. The turnovers are going to come from the quarterback. 90% of your turnovers are going to be generated because of the quarterback. Now, it may not totally be the quarterback's fault, but the ball traveling through the quarterback to its destination and getting intercepted, or the quarterback getting stripped. You'll get some turnovers from a running back fumbling, but it's in this day and age, it's fairly rare. So you've got to get opponents in obvious passing situations, and if you can't stop the run, then it really does limit your ability to take away the football. And again, this organization only had 9 last year, 9 takeaways. That's 3 fewer than anyone else that in the NFL. I mean, that's a death sentence. I mean, they could have been fantastic on offense last year. Press Taylor could have been Ben Johnson. I'm not sure it would have mattered. I mean, if you get 9 takeaways in a 17-game season, you've got no chance. I mean, that stat alone is a death sentence to a football team. And, and that number's got to, triple this year. for them to, I think, have a chance to win the division and have a special year. So it's got to start with stopping the run. I am encouraged with Anthony Campanile and his scheme. Talking to Walker Little yesterday, and it'd be one thing if I asked him, hey, how's the defensive scheme look? Obviously then he's going, oh, it looks great. It's the greatest thing I've ever seen. But anytime you get something from an athlete or a coach that's unprompted, I think it carries more weight. And, not that Walker Little is some 33-year-old 5-time Pro Bowler who's seen it all, but he has been in this league for a while now. And for him to say, this is a hard scheme to go up against as an offensive lineman and trying to move the ball, I think that's encouraging. And so, obviously, that's all we can have. All we're going to get from here until week 1 are signs. And, that is a promising sign that Anthony Campanile is going to be a massive upgrade at coordinator and will put these guys in position to make plays on the ball.
It'll be fun to watch the defense and see how good they are. We'll take a break. Let's get into some college football. When we come back, Hayes has a thought about practices, one team's practices regarding their practices, and I want to talk a little bit about college coaches. We'll meld those all together. College football talks next. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
You know Dan Hicken.
You ask him, he thinks he's the best in the world, but he's a functioning lunatic.
And you know Jeff Prosser.
I mean, he's a very interesting guy. You'll see.
Sure he is.
They are The Drill.
I don't know what to say.
I know what to say. Mornings on 1010XL.
This is Hayes Carline for Atlantic Infinity. If a new ride is on your radar, don't wait. Head to Atlantic Infinity today. Wow. Listen to this. For a limited time, get 0% interest on new vehicles. When's the last time you saw that offer? Plus, with every new purchase, you get the Atlantic Infinity Promise. That's nearly $2,500 in added value free. No pressure, just smart timing. They're on Atlantic near St. John's Bluff, or shop anytime at AtlanticInfinity.com.
Get this thing unwrapped here. Duval!
Praz, what in the world are you doing working on your Duval?
That's right, Dan. I really identify with Duval.
You live in St. John's County, knucklehead.
I mean the Duval sub, the Daily Stash Duval. Turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheeses. Lettuce, tomato, crispy and fresh, like me. I'm sure there's a Daily Stash sub that sums you up.
The boss.
Because, of course,
oven roasted beef, Munster cheese, roasted mushrooms, caramelized onions. It's the boss of all subs. Only available for me.
That's just not true.
What do you mean? I walked in the other day, screamed, "You know it!" and said, "A boss for a boss."
Well, no matter who you are, there is a Daily Stash sandwich or sub for you.
Go find yours. They may even make you a boss.
I'm sure they will, because it is Daily Stash.
Where more is better.
And you got that right.
DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to DivorceMenOnly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
It's tune-up time, and Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars, wants to partner with you for a cool summer season. Tune up your AC unit right now so it's running at peak performance when you need it most. Just call 777-4300 and order a tune-up for just $59. Keep your unit humming at optimal level. Log on to FloridaHomeAC.com and take advantage of their savings. Keep cool with Florida Home AC. That's 777-4300.
Need protection? Call Craig and Christine Kaprosky at Goosehead Insurance. The Kaproskys are a husband and wife team committed to finding you the right coverage at the right price in just a few short minutes. For home, auto, flood, or specialty insurance, Craig and Christine Kaprosky are the answer. Craig.Kaprosky at Goosehead.com.
Beer, water, beer. That's a pretty good game plan when it comes to battling the summer heat. When you hit the beach, fishing hole, or golf course, make sure you hydrate. Anheuser-Busch is always up for a good time. Just remember to drink responsibly.
You don't think this would be a good moment to text somebody?
There's never a bad moment to share your opinion on the 1010XL text line. Designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Share your opinion
As soon as possible.
at 641-1010.
Hurricane season on the First Coast can leave you in the dark, so why not get a head start on storm season with a home generator system from American Electrical? They've sold and installed more generators in Jacksonville than any other company around, with scores of whole home generator installations throughout North Florida. That's right, American Electrical has been installing and repairing thousands of generators for over a decade in Duval. Keep your loved ones and property protected. Log on to american-electrical.com and see how they can help you.
Paul's new drone startup just lost its most genius computer scientist.
We just lost our best genius to some new genius who's got a genius new idea. I'm going to have to find a new genius, or two half geniuses, and fast.
He needs a computer scientist that can keep his startup from falling down.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Reclaim a pain-free life with Rebound Rehab. If you've been injured or simply feeling the effects of an active life, you can rely on Rebound Rehabilitation to get you back in the game. Sitting on the sidelines isn't any fun. Trust Rebound Rehab's team of trained physical therapists to get you back up to speed and feeling full again. Now more convenient than ever. 11 locations to serve you, including new offices in Riverside across from St. Vincent's, Point Meadows, and Middleburg. Just log on to reboundrehab.com to see all they've got to offer.
If you're tired of weekend projects turning into weekend disasters, you're not alone. Building a fence isn't as easy as it looks. And let's face it, your neighbor still hasn't fixed his lopsided masterpiece. But Superior Fence and Rail makes it easy. Highly trained professionals, top quality materials, and a fence you'll love for years to come. Skip the stress and call the pros today.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville. You're on-road, you're off-road, now you're on the water. Greg, tell everybody what Coach and Honda is offering in the form of boats.
We've got the Honda boat, which is a great runabout fisherman. We've got the Coach boats. They're fantastic for getting out with a family. Nice lay-down beds, all with that legendary Honda motor on them.
Check them all out. They're waiting for you. You can see how you can be on the water with Honda or with Coach pontoon boats. Cycles of Jacksonville on Atlantic near Regency.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, Hammer Time with Hayes. Driven by Kia on Atlantic. Southside Kia is now Kia on Atlantic. Check us out at KiaOnAtlantic.com.
Master of panic, Mike Norvell, has made another gargantuan blunder as he attempts to recover from a just disastrous football season. Mike Norvell is closing practice to his local media during the fall. This comes after not having a spring game at all. Mike, your fans need to get excited about your program. They need to get excited about this team. You need to let your media in so that your fans have some idea of what to expect and to build some enthusiasm. You just led them to a 2-10 season. You need to be welcoming, not blocking people out. And by the way, I think there's enough film on Gus Malzahn and Thomas Castellanos and Tony White. I don't think Alabama is going to be thrown off by anything that you're doing. I just think it's such a misstep.
I will say this. First of all, I completely agree. And I will say this. In addition to, and Mike Norvell, to your point, needs to reach out to his fans as much as anybody. But beyond Florida State, one of the biggest travesties to me, particularly in the college realm, NFL's a little different, but particularly in the college realm, is how we have gone from in the 90s and even in the 2000s at some schools where everybody could come watch practice to where now nobody gets to watch practice. This isn't a media thing. This isn't me, the media guy. But one of the best things about being a college booster, college fan, is connecting with your team by going to practice, watching scrimmages, watching spring games. If you don't want somebody else to see your players and get them in the portal, well, then find a way to keep them. Do you really believe by now that anybody doesn't know what everybody else's offense is? I will tell you, I can remember in the 90s covering the Gators first as a newspaper reporter. I was the Gator beat writer. Spurrier's 90, 91, 92. His first 3 years, I was the beat reporter for the Gators. After that, I worked on the Gator Network, so I covered them for radio. Going to Florida practices enabled me to connect and watching them practice, watching the drills, understanding what they were doing at practice, understanding the personality of the coaches as he worked with these players. I had a clearly better understanding of what Florida wanted to do, and therefore could explain that better to my listeners, and before that, my readers, than any media guy can do now. And that's no knock on how good the media guy. Don't misrepresent that. Don't misread that. It's the hiding your team from fans is the likes of which I've never seen. What in the world are you accomplishing? One of the best things of the Final Four, is every team is on that court at 10 or 11, and everybody comes to watch practice. Everybody comes to your practice, and they watch the whole practice. Now, you may have a private workout where you're running some things you're not going to show them. That doesn't mean every minute of every practice has to be open. I'm sure when the Gators and the Noles in the 90s were running trick plays, they did that sometimes when we weren't out there. But the point is, the hiding your team from your fans is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. Again, the NFL is a little different. The professional nature of it, offenses are the same, players are very even. That one little trick you might use might be the difference in you winning the 23-17 game versus losing the 23-17 game, because every game in the NFL is 23-17. So that's a little. I get that one's a little different. But college coaches hiding their teams from their fans is the dumbest thing I've seen. And I know when it started, by the way. It started because of the internet. It started because of people putting video on the internet. That's what's before that. You always could get out there, but then fans would show a picture of you running a reverse, and next thing you know, it goes viral. And it's a shame we've never corrected that. It's the dumbest thing you can do is hide your team from your fans. Dumb. And you're right. Florida State, teams like Florida State that are struggling and have to regain their fan base, there's even more reason they should be out there. That's your point. But I think it's bigger than that, Hayes. I think it drives me crazy that all the fans that used to be able to go watch their college teams practice can't do it anymore. All the fans used to pound. They don't even have spring games. I mean, teams used to sell 50, 60, 70,000 tickets to spring games. They quit having them. I think it's stupid the way coaches are so paranoid that they hide their team from their fans.
And there's never been any data to support that doing that leads to wins.
Never.
There's never been a coach that lifted a championship and said, well, thank God we kept our media out in fall practice.
Yeah. And
that's what led to this great achievement.
And it's not about just the media. It's the fans.
That's the point. Yeah. I mean,
I don't just think the media should go to practice and fans are shut out. I'd put the fans in practice.
Sure.
You have if you have room.
Right.
Yeah, I would have the fans in practice.
Yeah, but obviously a lot of fans aren't going to be able to make practice. So they rely on the reporters that they trust to tell them, again, you're not revealing everything. The NFL, we're allowed to watch all of training camp. And it's great. And once they get to the regular season, we watch like 10 minutes of them stretching and that's it. And that's I'm fine with that. I mean, once you get into the regular season, if you want to batten down the hatches, that I totally understand. You're preparing for an opponent. But when you've got a month of practice, it just doesn't make sense to me. And so the NFL does a great job it's been great. The fans have been at every Jaguars camp practice so far. And it's really created a spirited environment. It's made it a lot of fun. I just don't get. I don't get not letting media in and thusly your fans when you're trying to build something. FSU just renovated their stadium.
Right.
We know they have attendance issues when things aren't going great. Now, when things are going great, they pack it and it's fantastic and it's an unbelievable environment. But when they're struggling, it's a long drive for a lot of FSU fans. And look, if the team is struggling, they may not go. You've renovated this stadium. You're coming off a 10-loss season, and you've got established coordinators that any coach is going to be able to know exactly what they're doing schematically. It just, to me, it just makes absolutely no sense.
And I will say this too: some people are going to hear us today, and you're going to think whiny media guys complaining they don't get to watch. Let me be clear about this. I know my position. I think Hayes is too. This isn't about whether I get to watch. I don't care. Well, that's not true. I do care. I like it. As a fan, I like it. But that's not the point. The point is connect with your fans. Connect with your. And if it's not through the media, connect with your fans through letting them come. I let everybody come. And again, it astounds me how we hide from the media. So anyway, I'm glad that was your hammer time today, because I told you before you did it. I don't rant very often, but coaches, these college coaches hiding, and they all do it, hiding their teams from their fans is the dumbest thing. You want the fan, and in college, by the way, you don't want them just to pay for the ticket. You want them to donate $10,000 or $5,000 or whatever. It's not, but you're asking them to donate. Now, you can make the comment, well, the big donors get to get in. Well, there's a lot of people you want to donate beyond the big donors. So that, to me, by the way,
don't you want to make some of these not big donors become big donors maybe down the line?
Yes, because you connect with them. So, by the way, buy my tickets. Please come to every game. Most college towns are not in big cities, so drive to our town, to your point, okay? By the way, buy our gear, because we want you wearing my gear everywhere.
Booster fees.
By the way, pay the booster fees, because we need to be able to recruit and have NIL. But I don't want you to see the team until we play, because it's going to help me beat Mississippi State. Okay, I got a better chance. Look, when I'm trying to run that that reverse against Wake Forest isn't going to work, even though all my players are better than the Wake Forest players. That reverse against Wake Forest isn't going to work if Bob from Thomasville saw it and ran and put up a video. Then it's never going to work. Okay, you know what's going to happen? Because the defensive end, the weak side defensive end at Wake Forest is buddies with Bob from Thomasville, and he's going to see that video, and he's going to blow up the play. Why am I even coaching? What are we doing?
I agree. I was really surprised when I saw it. I mean, it was bad enough for Florida State not to have a spring game, and again, they weren't the only ones.
Yeah,
but
Florida didn't have a spring game. A lot of them didn't. What are they doing?
Florida has a spring game. They just didn't televise it.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they did.
Good
You
point.
could go to the Swamp and watch the spring game.
Good point.
But yeah, like Nebraska didn't have a spring game.
Right. You're right.
So Florida State wasn't the only ones. But in that, I mean, I can kind of understand that if you're worried about, people evaluating the tape and offering you guys money out of the portal. I can kind of get that. But to not have a spring game and then not let your media watch any of your fall practices. I mean, again, you're not even doing anything of consequence for a few days anyway. I mean, it to me, it just comes across as a panic move by a panicked coach.
Yeah.
And I understand why he's panicked.
Yeah.
But I just think you'd be better served to be more open and try to build some, and they need that place. I mean, when Alabama walks in, look, I guarantee you there's fans in Tuscaloosa. They're buying tickets to that game. I mean, the last thing FSU needs in a renovated stadium is for that to feel like a neutral site game.
Right. And that's exactly right. All right, a couple thoughts. Because I was going to do this anyway today, and your rant got me going on it. But we kind of did this a couple weeks ago, but we didn't really dive in. If Florida State fires Mike Norvell, which could happen, if Lagway's hurt and the Gators get off to a bad start, if Florida fires Napier, which could happen, if your school of choice all of a sudden has an opening, who are the coaches you would want? Kiffin always is the default position. I think we said last week Kenny Dillingham has roared to the top of the hot young guy list, even though he's at his alma mater.
Brom.
Jeff Brom, we said the other day.
Lashley, maybe.
Good call. But we talked about that. We did the show a week and a half ago, I think, and maybe 2 weeks ago. And we went through all these names. But here's where I'm going with this. Boy, there isn't much out there that's exciting, is there, as far as new coaches and what they bring. Brom would be good. Lashley would be good. Dillingham, we talked about all these. JJ makes a good point. 2 weeks ago, whenever we did this show, we talked about these guys. But I got thinking that if I'm Florida State, if I'm Florida State University, and if he wins 3 games, they're going to fire him. I don't think there's much question about that, right? I mean, they might win. They may be lousy. They may be good, but they may be lousy. If I'm Florida State fan, and it now looks like because of health reasons and age, I'm thinking Deion may not be in play, and that may not be fair, but I don't know that there's a guy I'm excited about. Now, Kenny Dillingham or Jeff Brom would be good, but I don't know that, oh, my goodness, I can't wait to go buy tickets.
I don't know if Average Joe is excited about that.
Yeah. Is there anybody that, I mean, when I can tell you this, when Gary Darnell and Galen Hall and Gary Darnell were fired, the level of excitement about Stephen Orr Spurrier was the likes of which I had never seen and haven't seen since. When Zook got fired, the level of excitement with Urban Meyer was pretty good. It wasn't the same, but I'm trying to think if Florida, which fires a coach about every 3 years these days, I can't remember not only not being excited about one of the hires, not even being excited about candidates from the time. I mean, and same with Florida State. I can't remember Florida State was hired its share too. Even when Jimbo got it, when he got promoted, he did well. When's the last? Was Miami excited about Cristobal? Maybe that's one.
Oh, hell yeah.
And then maybe that, but that's probably the one. Probably the one.
And he would have never came to Miami if he wasn't a Miami former player.
And I can tell you this, Georgia fans they wanted Kirby Smart. They thought he was the guy that could fix. But it wasn't this level of excitement because he had never done it before. So, and Georgia fans were exasperated because they could just, ever since Vince Dooley, they couldn't find the guy. And then the belief was, boy, if Mark Richt's not the guy, who is? He's a good coach.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm just thinking now, I can't think there's one guy out there that everybody would be excited about.
Do you think that we'll see like a Josh Heupel surprise us? Would you leave Tennessee for FSU? Because I would in a second.
Yeah, I would.
I would leave Tennessee for Florida, and although he would be despised there if he did that. He could probably go to FSU, and people would be upset, but they'd probably somewhat understand it. Yeah. Obviously, if you leave Tennessee for Florida, you're going to be one of the biggest villains in the school history.
I don't know that I would leave Tennessee for those two schools today. Back in the day when recruiting was so regional, still kind of regional, by the way, when you couldn't, when Tennessee was going to have a heck of a time getting the player from Miami, I would have, then Florida and FSU might have been they might have been the two most attractive jobs in the country. I don't know that I would leave now if I'm him, but maybe. Yes, but that's not the question you're asking. The question you're asking is, would you get excited if it was him? Yeah, probably. That's a good call. Probably would. I'd probably get excited if Billy Napier got fired. And I'm like, okay, who am I going to get excited about? I'm like you, JJ. I really like Jeff Brom. I know Jeff. I don't know that I'm jumping out. I don't know if I'm cartwheeling down to Gainesville to buy extra tickets, but I like him. I think he'd be good. Right. But Heupel I'd probably be excited about because I feel like there's some Spurrier in there, So that's a good call. That I hadn't thought about him, but that's a really good call.
What if Lincoln Riley and USC part ways?
3 years ago, I would have been.
Oh, it would have been an A+++ higher.
3 years ago, I'd have been thrilled. Now I'm almost back where. And again, I was never as excited as everybody else was about Kiffin. You know that you told me you're not excited. Yeah. I'm not.
Yeah, you don't like Kiffin.
Yeah. Well,
you're not enamored with the idea. Yeah.
What about Dan Lanning?
Yeah,
if I love that man.
If Dan Lanning was willing to leave, then yes, that he'd be the Urban Meyer. That even though he's not from your geography, you take him because he's the Urban Meyer,
and you'd be pumped about it.
Yeah. That's a good call. So he. I don't see him leaving.
I don't think he'll leave Oregon.
But JJ's point is if he did,
it'd be a home run higher without a doubt.
But is there anybody else, even if they're not at a place they're likely to leave? Like Marcus Freeman's not leaving. He's at Notre Dame.
Right.
But even if he did, I don't know that I'd be, oh my God, doing cartwheels. He'd be a good coach. I wouldn't mind him.
And getting James Franklin would be a coup, but I don't think Gators fans would be.
I'm not cartwheeling.
I know plenty of my friend Gator fans that would not be happy.
Yeah, I'm not cartwheeling.
But I mean, look, if you get Penn State. Penn State's coach who has it does have a nice record.
He has a high
Traditionally, you would be oh wow, that's a really good hire.
I guess if Billy Napier, since I'm a Florida grad, if Billy Napier got fired tomorrow and I had my pick, I guess Dillingham, Brom.
But and even Dillingham, it's 1 year.
Yeah,
One hit wonder.
Brom.
Concerned about that.
It's not Kiffin for me. And by the way, if he got it, I'd be fine with it. But he's not the guy. I wouldn't. He's not the guy that. Oh my God. He's not the guy. My point is, I'm not sure that guy's out there. That guy used to be.
It's shallow.
That guy used to be everywhere.
It's a shallow coaching pool, without a doubt. And again, obviously you have to make your first call if you're Florida or Florida State and you're looking for a new coach. It's got to be Nick Saban.
Yeah.
But, what are the odds that that's going to be the spot that brings him back?
What are the
I have to think Nick Saban at Florida State believes he would win multiple national championships. I would think at Florida to a lower level, Nick Saban would look at that job as a place that he can probably, compete for a national title consistently, but obviously the resistance is much stronger. But
what if Dabo felt like his time was up at Clemson? He's a young guy. And he said, you know what? I've done all I can do here. I want to get to the SEC. Alabama's not opening up. What if it was Dabo?
I don't know how you couldn't be thrilled
Would you
for either Florida or Florida
JJ,
State.
Same thing for thrilled?
I love Dabo. So he'd have to bring in an OC that you trust and
but
all
I mean, assuming he would do all that. So
but he'd build a great culture.
So he is a guy. He'd be a would he be a cartwheel guy?
If you can't do cartwhels for a guy that's won 2 national championships,
at Clemson,
then to me you
got no cartwheel in you.
You don't do the cartwheel.
Yeah, okay. I'm trying to think.
We have become obsessed.
No, I would be excited.
We've become obsessed as a culture of getting the new young offensive mind.
You're right. You're right.
And so people almost look down on Dabo. And he's not an X's and O's guy. It's like,
and maybe I'm.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Sean McVay is walking to Gainesville.
Right. Well, that's the point. And by the way, if I'm really trying to think of guys, even unrealistic guys that I would be really excited about. And maybe I'm just a curmudgeon, but
Sark's not coming.
Not right.
Sark's at Texas. He's not leaving for Florida State or Florida.
And by the way, if that wasn't part of the conversation, if part of the conversation wasn't he's not coming, if part of the conversation is just for the sake of the exercise,
pick a guy.
you could have anybody. It's probably Sark.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if it used to 2 years ago, it was Lincoln Riley. No matter what else.
Right.
Right now,
I still would like to have Lincoln Riley.
I still would be happy with Lincoln Riley, because I blame some of that on USC.
I do too. In a new start. But if it was anybody, if the answer was you can have anybody, and whoever you want's coming to your college program, Sark's probably the guy.
Yeah,
Sark's probably one that nobody would disagree with.
Yeah,
because he's less silly than Kiffin. There's a seriousness to him that I think is just, I don't know why I feel that way, just kind of missing with Lane. He's a good coach. He's obviously good, and he's an accomplished coach.
And accomplishing things at Texas is certainly, to me, more impressive than winning 8 games at Ole Miss.
Of course it is. Yeah, so it really is interesting stuff. All right, we'll take a break. I want to talk. We got headlines coming up in about 10 minutes, but I want to talk about this baseball trade deadline. I want to bounce it off JJ. I want to talk about the thoughts about how it exists. That's next. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. But when it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Get loose in the corner and tight on the straightaway.
That 2-car was all over the place.
Sunday at Iowa Speedway.
What'll he do?
Powered by the Plumbers and Pipefitters Local Union 234. From the station with the most horsepower. 1010XL.
Hi, folks. I'm Frank Frangie, and I got to tell you, I can't fix anything. I would be so lost with plumbing problems if not for Duck Duck Rooter. But everybody knows to call the Duck. Well, I do too. Whether it's plumbing, air conditioning, septic, they handle all of it, and nobody does a better job than our friends at Duck Duck Rooter. Any of those needs you have, call them today, 904-862-6769, or go to duckduckrooter.com. If you've got problems, call Duck Duck Rooter. They'll handle it. I guarantee it.
I'm Renee Harrell. At Harrell & Harrell, we understand when you've been in an accident, there's a lot to handle. You've lost pay, and now the medical bills are piling up. When there isn't much insurance, some attorneys will pay your bills, take their fee, leaving you with even less than them. Not at Harrell & Harrell. We'll work hard to reduce your medical bills, and we promise our fee will never be more than you take home. Call us today, 904-251-1111. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Offices, Jacksonville.
Here's Linda Beaver.
The dog days of summer are here, and so are the hottest deals of the year. Whether you're hauling down the street, cruising on the beach, or just escaping the heat, we have the ride you're looking for and the wow you experience you deserve. Save big on select models with sizzling summer savings, low financing, and limited time bonus cash on all trades. So don't sweat it. Come beat the heat at Beaver Automotive, where the summer deals will wow you.
Discuss the beautiful game. The Coaches Show presented by Sporting Jacks. Cole Pepper, Sporting Jacks head of soccer Mark Warburton, and Sporting Jacks women's coach Stacey Baylor. Get an hour of soccer talk Tuesday evenings at 6 on 1010 a.m. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Frangie here to tell you about the coolest new thing, a putting green in my backyard that my friends at Sunshine Turf installed. Sunshine Turf can do the same for you. They'll come to your house, they'll create a custom design for your space, and you'll have an authentic golf course experience right in your own backyard. I freaking love it. Sunshine Turf is family owned, and they made the process so simple. So visit sunshineturf.info or call them at 904-383-0243 and get a free quote today for your own putting green. Get it from Sunshine Turf.
It all comes down to Daytona and the Coke Zero Sugar 400 race weekend, August 22nd and 23rd. Answer this question for a chance to win a family 4-pack of tickets to the Wawa 250, powered by Coca-Cola. Friday night, August 22nd. Who was on the pole position for last year's Coke Zero Sugar 400? Text the driver's last name only to 641-1010 for a chance to win tickets to the Wawa 250, powered by Coca-Cola, August 22nd.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Dempsey, and I only like to recommend the best, which is why I'm proud to say that I chose Pella Windows and Doors for my own home. And now's a great time to upgrade your home with 0% financing for 60 months. That's 5 years of interest-free payments on the best windows and doors in the business. Don't wait. Schedule a free consultation at PellaJacks.com or visit their showroom on Phillips Highway just north of Bay Meadows. For quality you can trust and savings you can't miss, that's Pella Windows and Doors.
I'm Frank Frangie, and I told you before, my daughter Amber is following the lead of Hacker and Mike and Matt and trying to lose a few pounds with Awaken 180. Well, I got to tell you, she's been amazed at the results. Now get this. She's been in the program 3.5 weeks. She's lost 22.5 pounds. 22. It's hard to believe, and she is so excited. There's nothing better than seeing your kid excited. She said it's so convenient. She raves about her coach, who she speaks with once a week. She said the food's terrific, and she's never hungry. Man, she's found a program that really works, and boy, is she excited. If you want to give it a try, call 844-346-1800. That's 844-346-1800, or visit awaken180weightloss.com. It's changing my daughter's life, it really is, and it can change yours as well. 844-346-1800 or awaken180weightloss.com. If you're looking for a transformation, now's the time to call Awaken 180.
Hey, Hickett here. Think you got the ugliest garage floor on the First Coast? Your garage a crack-stained hot mess? Hold on to your squeegee. Checkmate Coatings is hunting for the worst garage floor out there. And the winner gets a free garage coating makeover. Whoa! Take 10 seconds. Snap a pic of that garage eyesore. Register at checkmatecoatings.com/contest for a chance to win a free floor coating. It's easy. Just snap a quick pic and enter for a chance to win at checkmatecoatings.com/contest. Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
Yo, E.T. here, and I need you to beat the heat this summer with cool escapes and non-stop fun in Clay County. Tackle indoor adventures head on. Throw axes at Live by Axe or smash your stress away at Just Smash That. Then kick back with drinks, good food, and fandom vibes at Nakama Anime Bar or Leaderboard Arcade and Bar. Whether you're blowing off steam or just looking to chill, Clay County got your perfect indoor getaway. Find your cool at exploreclay.com. That's exploreclay.com.
I'm Max Fink with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. The Jaguars will be hosting a scrimmage in Everbank Stadium this Friday, August 1st at 7 p.m., airing right here on 1010XL 92.5 FM and 1010 AM. Parking lots open at 3:30 with complimentary general parking available upon registration for lots B, C, D, E, J, S, and X. Due to construction, only gates 1 and gate 4 will be open for entry at 4:30, with kickoff following at 7. It was announced that University of Florida quarterback DJ Lagway is dealing with a lower leg injury that has had him in a walking boot. The severity of the injury seems to be minor, but is a subject to bring attention to before fall camp kicks off next week. It's 93 degrees at 5:06. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Nimnick Tuesday on The Frangie Show. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941.
The great voice of Glenn Fry. Man, I miss Glenn Fry. Told you last week, of all the guys that we've lost, that's probably the voice I miss the most. The personality I probably miss the most is Buffett. But the voice I miss the most is this one. Glenn Fry. Gone way too soon. Gone in like he's about my age now. I think he was 67. I'm 66. So there's that. Wow. So baseball's at the trading deadline, JJ. We're there. Next 2 days. I got to tell you, there's a lot wrong with baseball. I am one. JJ and I are on opposite ends of the world on this. It wouldn't bother me if there was a stoppage of play if it got me to a cap and a floor. So we disagree on a lot of things.
Yeah, I was just thinking the opposite today.
Yeah.
It wouldn't bother me if they did it so they could keep it.
Right. Yeah, and either way, they're probably good. They're probably not.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think
I could definitely see 2027 starting late.
Yeah, but I will tell you this. This is the most fun trade deadline. Not this year, but I mean, baseball does that part right.
No question.
I mean, everybody pays attention now. I mean, and what happens now is, if your team sucks, you trade all your players. If your team's good, you go and you spend money, you go get players. A lot of times they're rentals. A team like mine has a bunch of guys on expiring contracts anyway, because that's what we do. This is a fun 2 or 3 days.
You can build your team. Like if you are, the Nationals or something, and you trade a Soto for a rental, and now you see what they got back, and it's like, oh my goodness, that's their entire core for the next 10 years. So you can really do a lot of things if you're a crappy team.
You're right. If you're good at recognizing, which my team's not, but if you're good at knowing who might be good, but it's just a fun 2 or 3 days. No other sport has this. There's trade deadlines in every sport. Football, as great as the NFL is, as many things as the NFL does better than anyone else, they don't have this. There's no, you may get a guy traded at the deadline. You may get a pass rusher.
I remember it was shocking when the Jaguars traded for Marcel Darius in 17.
I do too.
You just don't often see it. It was maybe a little spicier last year. I think the league is kind of cognizant of that it isn't a bigger deal. But yeah, baseball is there.
Stars can get traded in baseball. Right. You'll never see a star, real star in the NFL.
Marcel Darius is the equivalent of a 6-hole hitter.
Right.
That you went and picked up a guy to bat 6th in your lineup. Baseball is going to trade cleanup batters.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I do. I think this is.
And they'll be on playoff rosters. Like these guys are the guys that are traded today and tomorrow are going to make a difference in the NLCS or the World Series. Like they're going to be there.
Is there one in particular that you guys see that if this move happens, it changes?
Well, there's so many
the
of them.
complexion.
There's not. I don't see one blockbuster.
There's not like a Soto guy.
No, there's not a guy like that. So, but there's a lot of teams that are 1 or 2 moves away. Blue Jays are better than they've been. The Tigers are looking at. Everyone wants relievers because you can rent relievers.
The entire AL East really is trying to fight for it.
But like
the Red Sox doing something.
But like a Cubs fan and a Pirates fan, like Taylor and me. Okay, well, the Cubs are really good, really good. The Pirates are really bad. But both fan bases are engaged right now. To JJ, to your point, because the Cubs might be 1 or 2 moves away from winning the World Series. The Pirates may get that one home run hitter that they don't have, that suddenly their offense will be good, right?
Or a great starting pitcher. Right. I mean, you guys have a million of those.
Yeah. So now, you see what I mean, Hayes? You can be at anywhere on that food chain, and these next 2 or 3 days are a big deal for you, and that's what baseball does better than anybody.
Yeah, without a doubt. Do you think like Mitch Keller gets moved?
Yeah,
I was going to say that.
Yeah, here's all the talk is Keller. the starter, Bednar, the reliever. David Bednar now has got 16 straight converted saves. That leads baseball.
Wow, he was struggling to start too.
But since he found himself, and he hadn't allowed a run since May. So he's been But the point is, here's what the Pirates will do: they'll trade both of them, and even because they control, and they'll because the Cubs or the Phillies will give him some Double-A guy that hit 18 home runs. He'll come to Pittsburgh and suck. Okay, and then, but yeah, I think. But by the way, if I was the Pirates, I wouldn't trade any of the pitchers that are controllable, because your only chance to be good is to outpitch everybody.
Yeah, how many years do you have Keller left?
Keller's got 3 or 4 years.
Well, yeah, you got to keep him then. That's more than I thought.
But he's everywhere in the news that he's the one they're going to trade.
Sandy Alcantara, I've heard, who won the Cy Young for the Marlins a couple years ago. He's a huge name.
And the real shame is the Marlins actually
they've been playing good. 20 out of 28 they've won.
But the real shame is a team like the Rays, who always stay competitive. And they did go to the World Series a couple of times, but they never win anything. Well, now by the way, and I get Lowe and Lau mixed up. Is Brandon Lowe or Lau?
Brandon's Lau, I believe.
Okay, Brandon Lau, okay. He's a really good player, okay? He's got 19 home runs. He's knocked in 50 runs. He's hitting 270. And today's 270 is yesterday's 310, okay? So he's a really good – they're going to trade him. Just the same way they traded a Rosarina and Willie Adames. And I think that's a shame. It's a shame that I hope Patrick Zalewski, when he buys the Rays – puts a stop to that, and all of a sudden they keep their good players. But yet even if you're the Rays, you're excited because you know whoever you go get, they're going to turn them into good players. Yeah. I just think it's a really exciting 2 or 3 days, and baseball's got that over everybody else. JJ, I think that's kind of
Braves. One that they're looking to trade is Ozuna, who was amazing the last few years for them, but he's been hurt. He hasn't really played too much recently,
right?
And he's just an older bat, but like you said, a lot of people could use a DH for the next couple months going into the playoffs. Yeah. So, every team, my group chat this morning was blowing up about trades, and we're 1,000 games out of first place. So, no matter how crappy your season's been, the trade deadline is always exciting.
No question about it. Let's take a break. Hayes has headlines after this, so stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
What's happening? Tommy Mack joins Lauren Brooks and Taylor Dahl for the new and improved Helmets and Heels.
So let me get this straight.
New attitude, new time.
What exactly is it I'm not supposed to know about?
Catch the new look Helmets and Heels afternoons 2 to 4 on 1010XL.
When you buy online, you really cannot tell because you're not looking at the stone. So it's impossible to buy a stone online that you can really see everything about it. You have to buy a diamond in person.
That's John Lupo at Beard's Diamonds, who says one big mistake is trying to buy a diamond online. Because each diamond is unique, you need to examine it for yourself.
Otherwise, you can get fooled, you can get tricked, and that's not a good thing when you're spending thousands of dollars.
At Beard's, John's son Ben says they give each customer the ability to compare multiple diamonds in their price range. Not just on paper, but up close inside and outside.
Go outside in the natural daylight. That's the best test, to be able to see the exact color in the stone, see the brilliance in the stone, and the fire and the scintillation, which is very, very important.
People want to know what they're spending this money on, and they also want to be protected.
That's why Beards takes it a step farther with a money-back guarantee and a trade-up policy that guarantees you will always get what you paid when you upgrade. Buy with confidence at locally owned Beard's Diamonds in St. John's Town Center.
Frank Frangie here for my friend and insurance agent, Craig Dewhurst. Craig has been helping families on the First Coast with their insurance needs for 25 years as your good neighbor and local State Farm agent. Now's a great time to review your insurance policies, whether you need auto, homeowners, or renter's insurance, or insurance for your golf cart, boat, or jet skis. Craig handles all of my family's insurance needs, and even better, he gives back to the community. Call Craig today at 904-940-9740. That's 904-940-9740.
PRP treatment is kind of the thing these days, and in many cases, it eliminates the need for surgery. This is Sheridan Tootin, and my experience with PRP from Southeast Orthopedic Specialist has been nothing short of great. I'm really feeling much better now. Ask your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist doctor about PRP treatment.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, where athletes are treated like pros.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Frangie here. Nimnik Buick GMC has the largest selection of GMC's impressive SUV lineup, like the all-new redesigned GMC Acadia and the highly sought-after Yukon and Yukon XL. Curious about an EV? Save big with the all-new GMC Hummer EV SUV and truck, plus the all-new GMC Sierra EV with outstanding cash incentives. Now is the time to take an EV test drive. Shop 24/7 online at nimnikbuickgmc.com or head to the showroom on Phillips Highway. GMC, we are professional grade.
As a Florida homeowner, you're no stranger to mosquito problems. And although it's tempting to use DIY methods to get rid of them, mosquitoes are relentless. That's why it's important to enlist the help of the mosquito experts at Florida Pest Control. At Florida Pest Control, we offer specialized treatment solutions that are effective against mosquito infestations and are committed to keeping our customers protected year-round. For your free quote, give us a call or visit flapest.com today. Florida Pest Control, your local mosquito control experts.
Cooking with Crisco.
These things are wonderful. You're going to love it. Have a rolling.
Catch CBS Sports senior NFL writer Pete Prisco every Friday afternoon on The Frangie Show. Brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles on 1010XL.
AA Automotive helps keep your vehicle in dependable and safe condition. Call Sam, Harry, or Joe, and they'll check your brakes, tires, fluids, electric, and motor, so your ride runs smooth on the road. That's AA Automotive on Richard Street.
If life blindsided you tomorrow, would your family struggle? I'm Cody with Harborstone Financial, and I can help. One call could protect your family for life. 904-885-9566. Harborstone Financial.
If a storm impacts our area, JEA is ready to respond. Our team of over 2,000 employees is prepared to move in when the storm moves on. Once restoration efforts begin, we won't stop until everyone is back online. And we'll keep you informed with real-time updates at JEA.com and the MyJEA app. We're ready for storm season and want you to be too. Visit JEA.com/storm to learn what you can do now to prepare.
Hey, it's Joe C. When was the last time you flushed out your water heater? Flushing a water heater each year improves its efficiency and extends its lifespan. So call Roland Reese Plumbing for a routine water heater flush out and any other plumbing needs. 260-7059. Roland Reese Plumbing.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
Frangie here for Coil Fencing. Jacksonville is full of memorable sports moments. Remember Hal Sutton when he famously said, "Be the right club today"? Well, that's what Coil Fencing delivers. The right fence today. And they've been delivering the right fencing for both commercial and residential properties for nearly 100 years. If you're in the market for a new fence, call Coil & Sons today at 904-356-4821 or visit coiljacks.com. That's COYLE Jacks.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Gather round. It's Hayes' Headlines, presented by Harrell & Harrell. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hayes Carline.
Welcome back to the Frangie Show. Be sure to give our friends at Harrell & Harrell a call at 251-1111. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you get injured, that is who you need to call. Frank, we're going to start with the Jaguars. We were out there again today for training camp practice. What stood out to you today on another day with the pads on?
Yeah, I thought, I made the comment earlier that the Hunter Long catch, he's showed up for me a little bit today. I thought De'Ami Brown had the best day of anybody on the Jaguar team today. I said they're not hitting like you're supposed to do, like you used to hit, which I'm glad of. I think there's a rhythm to what they're doing. I think there's a rhythm to the offense. There's not, you know what, there's not. They dropped some passes, but they're not running the wrong way. You don't have the quarterback runs left and the running back went right and they botched the handoff. They're not dropping snaps. To be this early in camp, there seems to be an efficiency to me. That's what stands out.
Defensive coordinator Anthony Campanile met with reporters after practice and was asked about Travis Hunter. Here he is talking about his star student.
I mean, as we all know, he's a great athlete, but you see him doing the extra work out here with Coach Milas and Coach Perkins. So he's really taking advantage of the meeting time and the on-field time with those guys, like I call them the feet meets or the walkthroughs. He's really doing a great job focusing, and then you see his athleticism able to make plays on the ball in the air, so that gets everybody excited. But really pleased with Travis and the effort he's given, obviously doing this with both sides of the ball.
I'll say this. The closer we get to the Carolina Panthers coming to town, the more intrigue there is about how much they're going to use him. The preseason won't tell you anything because the star players probably aren't going to play very much. So, I really do think, and for people that don't know, to Hayes' point and what Campanile was talking about, is he can be on offense. It could be a teal shirt day, and he's on offense.
And it was today.
Yeah, but anytime there's a break, he goes with the secondary coach and the coordinator and goes and works on defensive fundamentals. Then goes back to the offense when the team stuff starts again. So, to Campanile's point, he's not afraid to put in the work. That's pretty clear.
Yeah, absolutely. There's usually about 15 minutes worth of special teams work in a practice, and so it's usually 2 periods of about 7 minutes in length. And yeah, so it's a pretty good amount of time. And so Travis Hunter obviously not asked to do anything on special teams. So he really takes advantage of that, of getting that extra time with his defensive coordinator and position coach. It's really been cool to see it all transpire in terms of the plan and the implementation of that plan. Let's stick on the defensive side of the football. Standout linebacker Foye Oluwakan met with reporters after practice and talked about last year and said there was a toxic mindset once adversity hit.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously last year did not go great. It's easy to get down on yourselves, kind of get through. It's a toxic mindset of football there, and we got through the season abysmally. So come back this season, let's try to right our wrongs, and let's get out on the right foot.
I'm not pointing at one guy. That's not fair. I wasn't in the locker room. I'm not on the sideline. But I think it is fair to suggest that there wasn't a great connection between Ryan Nielsen and some of his key defenders. And I would say Foye is the ultimate pro. He's a good dude. He's a good person. He's a terrific player. But I think Foye would tell you he didn't connect well with the defensive coordinator. Is that safe, you think?
I think it's, very safe.
I think he would tell you there wasn't much of a connection there.
Yeah, and again, this will be a challenge for Liam Cohen this year once adversity hits, is keeping everybody on the same page. That was something that the staff really struggled with last year when they got off to the dreadful start and never recovered. Let's get to around the NFL. We're going to start in Indianapolis, where Anthony Richardson is actually getting some good buzz from Colts media. Are you buying Anthony Richardson is maybe starting to turn a corner?
I don't know. I'm not. I think the traits are there. The work ethic is there. The good teammate is there. Usually when you have those 3 things, traits, which is first, work ethic, and culture, good teammate, it always works. I just don't think he's ever going to be a very accurate passer. Will he be healthy? I don't know that. He may be a guy that's always hurt, but I don't know that. I'm not confident either way there. But I don't think a guy that completed 48% of his passes, you're going to look up and suddenly he's going to complete 64 one year. I don't see it.
It'd be a fun segment to do maybe down the line in terms of what are like the worst things that can happen for the Jaguars. Anthony Richardson actually turning out to be a superstar would be high on that list.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I think we've all sort of accepted that that the Colts are probably going to have to reinvest more premium assets in the quarterback position. So we'll see, but Anthony Richardson is drawing praise from people watching Indianapolis football. So we'll see what happens there. Let's get to college football. Gators coach Billy Napier says quarterback DJ Lagway is day-to-day and will be on a modified workload to start camp, but said the injury occurred about a week ago and that Lagway is already showing quick recovery from it.
Yeah, it's a calf. That was been reported. And look, I said this yesterday I said it as part of my Nimnik Nugget. I said it as my take. You and I talked about it in a segment, Hayes. The reality is that he's not even made it to his sophomore season yet. And he's already had missed time with a concussion. He's had a terrible, brutal hamstring injury. He's had shoulder issues. He's had sports hernia surgery. and now he's got a calf strain. So before he ever got to his sophomore year, he has had injuries in his head, his arm, his core, his calf, and his hamstring. It's disingenuous not to wonder, is he a guy that's always going to be hurt?
Napier was asked what's some of the differences between this year and years past. And one of the things that Napier pointed out is he said the Gators haven't had as many offensive skill players that you can build around, a game plan around, like this team has.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of skill there. I think there's a lot of areas where Florida's better than they have been in his tenure. But offensive skill certainly comes to the forefront. I'll be interested to see how it works with the receivers because Lagway's young and the receivers are young. J. Michael Sturdivant's a senior that came from UCLA, but for the most part, it's a young group. I mean, Trey Wilson's one of the most veteran receivers. Mizell's new, and Abrams and Tank are all young guys. And then there's the freshmen that are really young guys, Dallas Wilson and Vernell Brown and Nashawn Montgomery. They're supposed to be really good, Hayes. That's a lot of really good football players I just ran off, but it's not a lot of guys that have played a lot of football, so it'll be fun to see.
One of those skill guys is running back Jaden Baugh. Gators strength coach Tyler Miles met with reporters as camp opens and said Jaden Baugh is the strongest player pound for pound on the team. He is somebody that I think is absolutely got underrated superstar written all over.
100%. He might be a great player. We were at the spring game 2 years ago, and he went nuts. And I said, uh-oh, there's something there. It wasn't just a spring game performance that a guy disappears, you never see him again. You could tell there was something there. Jaden Baugh might be a megastar. Now look, the good problem, is he's going to share time with Jacoby Jackson, who's right there with him. He's going to also have to give up some reps to Trayon Webb from here in Jacksonville. KD, the fourth guy.
Daniels.
KD Daniels is the guy that they think is good, just hasn't got on the field yet. So he's going to share some snaps, but I think he's really good. I'm with you.
It was interesting. Tyler Miles, again, the Gators strength coach, also singled out defensive back Aaron Gates and defensive lineman Jaden Woods as real physical freaks in the weight room.
If Gates can come back, Gates blew a knee in the Georgia game, but he was really coming on as a really good defensive back. They played him at the nickel. I don't know when he's back, but that was what encouraged me about that comment. I saw it too. Is Gates must be back or close to back. That would really help the defense.
Yeah, and Napier talked about Gates as well, and it does seem like he's well ahead of schedule. So, we'll see if he's available early, if he's available when they go to LSU.
Yeah,
that is a massive win.
Yeah, he plays Florida. The same position as Sharif Denson, who's from here at Bartram Trail. And Sharif's a good player, but he's not as good a player as Gates.
Yeah, I would agree. Let's stick with college football and college athletics in general. Frank, it seems like there's some speculation that the next SEC team is North Carolina.
Yeah, that buzz seems to be growing. Now, again, Inside Carolina broke the story that North Carolina wants to join the SEC in 2030. Well, we all know something's going to happen in 2030. That's when the exit fee goes way down. There's a lot of reason to believe it. Clemson and FSU give them very good football and good football heritage, but they also both come from a state where the SEC already exists. North Carolina comes from, number one, is a great academic school, but beyond that, and gives them a bunch of other sports, but comes from a sport where they don't exist. Of all the southern and southwestern cities the SEC has, the SEC has Dallas, even though it's not in Dallas. The SEC has Houston, even though it's not in Houston. The SEC has Atlanta and New Orleans, even though they're not in those towns. They don't have Charlotte. Charlotte is a major town with two major sports teams, and the SEC doesn't have Charlotte yet. Think about that. They've got Atlanta, Tampa, Miami, New Orleans, Dallas, Houston. Have you thought about that?
Yeah.
They have Nashville. They don't have Charlotte. And that is a big deal to them, which is why if North Carolina is next in line, that would be why.
That's who I would take if I was the SEC. I'm sure the Big Ten will have a say in that as well, but North Carolina could end up being the belle of the ball with the next round of realignment.
And it would be that contiguous states thing that Greg Sankey has never moved off of, and instead it's important to him.
Absolutely. Let's get it to college basketball. We know the Rumble dates. UNF and JU men's basketball will face off February 14th and February 28th, both Saturday games this year.
Yeah, do I take my wife to Valentine's night at the Rumble? No, I'm glad they're both Saturday games. They should be either Friday or Saturday night games. They should be one or the other, and I'm glad they're both going to be there. And remember now, the ASUN tournament is in Jacksonville next year. So that'll be fun. So if those teams qualify for the tournament, they get to do it here at home.
Let's get it to Major League Baseball. Today we honor Chicago Cubs great Hall of Famer Ryan Sandberg, who died yesterday at the age of 65, one of the most beloved Cubs of all time. Sandberg was the NL MVP in 1984 and a 10-time All-Star. I loved Ryan Sandberg when I was a child watching the Cubs play baseball in the summer, 9 years old. And loved it. I'd watch the Cubs in the day and watch the Braves at night. And Ryan Sandberg was such a superstar and fantastic player.
Let me tell you why that one hit so hard, and you hit it. In the 80s, and JJ, this is before your time, obviously, but in the 80s, not everybody was on TV. But the two super stations were WTBS that showed all the Braves games and WGN, which showed all the Cubs games. So whether you're in Jacksonville, San Diego, Minneapolis, or Peoria, you knew Ryan Sandberg. You knew Leon Durham and Jody Davis and Ron Say. You knew Hawk and Gary Matthews and Bobby Didier. That was my Harry Carey.
Yeah.
You knew all those guys. You knew Rick Sutcliffe because they were on that Cubs team. I could do the whole lineup. Mm-hmm. You knew that Cubs because you saw them every day, and you kind of fell in love with Chicago and with the Cubs, and Sandberg was the star of that team. Of all those good players, even with Hawk Harrell, even with Andre Dawson there, the Hawk. Even with Andre Dawson there, Sandberg was the star of the team. And I thought that one hit hard last night. Yeah. I didn't realize he'd been sick. And I don't did you realize he'd been
sick? Yeah, but I thought he was sick but had recovered.
Yeah.
And was obviously had a relapse I
remember him being sick a long time ago.
Did you? He was a beloved player, the first $7 million man in baseball. I've told that story before. I can still remember thinking I didn't think anybody would ever make $7 million in one season. I remember when he got that contract. So beloved. That one hit me. We've had a lot of deaths of people in the celebrity world with whom you're familiar, and that's the most recent one. That one hit hard.
Yeah, because again, the Cubs, Wrigley didn't get lights until what, like 89 probably? So
they
right? Didn't have, when I was a kid, they were always on during the day.
Yeah, and they still play a lot of day games.
Yeah, but I don't think they got lights until like well after Sandberg's prime.
Yeah, but I can tell you that team of Jody Davis catching, Leon Bull Durham at first, Sandberg at second, Sean Dunstead at short, Ron Say at third, Gary Matthews, Bob Denier, and Dawson in the outfield. I know that team off the top of my. I just ran off their whole lineup because we saw them every day.
Yeah,
you saw that team in the Braves. I could do the Braves too. We saw them every day, and so that one hit hard for me last night.
Absolutely. Sandberg, by the way, you mentioned his earnings, $24.9 million for a career, which was fantastic.
Yeah,
for his era.
Yeah, it was.
There are 19 players in Major League Baseball this season making more.
Wow,
than he made in his entire career.
Isn't that amazing? And by the way, if you talk about greatest second baseman of all time, Joe Morgan's high on that list. Bill Mazeroski's high on that list. But I will tell you, Ryan Sandberg high on that all time second baseman. I know I'm missing a few. But high on the list, I can assure you.
Yeah, without a doubt. Let's get it to pop culture. Netflix says Happy Gilmore 2 had 46.7 million people watch it. It's the biggest ever for a Netflix movie. How about that?
What's the dinner tonight? Chicken fingers? I'll stay another night.
We loved it. I'm glad it did well, and we don't need a third.
No, I agree.
But they did a really good job with the sequel.
Well, and again, you made the point we all did. If you are a fan of the PGA Tour and today's professional golf, and you have a familiarity with it and the players, you will love it. If you don't know anything about it, if you couldn't name anybody, if the last golfer you could name was Tiger Woods, it won't resonate as much with you. I'm just telling you, it won't. It's funny, but it won't.
Absolutely. We talked about Ryan Sandberg's MVP in 1984, so let's do a song from 1984 because we honor Prince. When Doves Cry, the #1 song on the Billboard 100 for 5 weeks back in the summer of 1984. This was the lead single from Purple Rain and his first #1 hit.
How about that? Great song. Great song. Great actor and great work as always. And again, Ryan Sandberg, the great Ryan Sandberg, certainly a star in the mid-'80s, gone way too soon. We'll take a break. We'll wrap the program after this.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brent Musburger's Visa in Action update on 1010XL. Brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
College football fall camps opening up this week. The Texas Longhorns plus 250 to win the SEC championship this season with Arch Manning at quarterback. Georgia is at plus 360, Alabama plus 400. Over the Big Ten, Ohio State favored to win that conference at plus 200, Penn State at plus 225, Oregon plus 350. In the Big 12, Kansas State, the betting favorite to win that conference at plus 550. Both Arizona State, winners of last year's Big 12 title, and Utah are plus 600. In the ACC, Clemson at minus 110 to repeat as conference champions, Miami plus 450. Earn cash back on your gaming transactions with the GBank Signature Visa Card at vsin.com/GBank. I'm Tony Desiri with your Visa in Action update on 1010XL.
When your plumbing backs up, your septic's acting shady, or your AC quits on a 95-degree day, who are you going to call? Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. Don't take just our word for it. Here's what real customers are saying about their experience with our company.
Megan in the office was so helpful and polite. Scheduling was easy, and the tech showed up right on time.
From plumbing and septic to air conditioning, we do it all. Call 904-862-6769 or online at duckduckrooter.com. When you're stuck, call the Duck.
Experience professional grade at Nimnik Buick GMC, home of the largest inventory of GMC Sierras in Northeast Florida and Southeast Georgia. Now this month, save up to $10,000 off select new GMC Sierra 1500 or enjoy rates as low as 0% APR financing. That's right, 0%. You can't find deals like this anywhere else in Jacksonville. And Nimnik has the largest selection of GMC's impressive SUV lineup, like the all-new redesigned GMC Acadia and the highly sought-after Yukon and Yukon XL. Are you curious about an EV? Well, save big with the all-new GMC Hummer EV SUV and truck, plus the all-new GMC Sierra EV. You get the deal. Nobody has better prices on anything EV than my friends at Nimnik, so head there today. Shop 24/7 online at NimnikBuickGMC.com. Head to Nimnik today. We are professional grade GMC.
I'm Holt Harrell with Harrell & Harrell. Choosing a law firm after an accident is an important decision. With so many messages, we know it can all sound the same. At Harrell & Harrell, we believe what sets us apart is our commitment to you. We'll help you find doctors to get you better, and we'll work hard to maximize any recovery. Visit our website and look at our reviews to see how we've helped people just like you make this important decision. Harrell & Harrell. Offices, Jacksonville.
Hey folks, Rick Ballou here for John's Auto. They've been a staple in Jacksonville going all the way back to 1985. At John's Auto, they service all makes, all models, cars, trucks, diesel, you name it, they do it. Whether it's routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul. Call John's Auto on Arlington Road. That's 904-743-3857 or go to johnsautomotivejacks.com.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville. I always brag on what you guys have on-road and off-road. But Greg, tell everybody about what's happening on the water, because you got loads of opportunity.
We do. We've got lots of boats in stock. We got the Honda 19-foot Fisher Runabout. We've got the Coach pontoons, all of them with that legendary Honda motor and legendary Honda reliability, which you always want when you're out on the water.
You could be cruising along the Intercoastal or out on the ocean, but check it out. Facebook page ready for all of you to see. Cycles of Jacksonville or their showroom on Atlantic near Regency.
Who says there's no free lunch? Join me, Hicken, and Jaguar and Gator legend Fred Taylor for free food and football talk Friday, August 8th at Alhambra Theater. When you hear this... Bye-bye! Rockberry is still chasing a 90-yard run. Be caller 28 to win a pair of tickets to a free lunch with Fred. Doors open at 11. Jags talk, Gators talk, football talk, including a 1-hour Q&A with Freddie T. And we're buying you lunch. Stay tuned for this sound.
Bye-bye. Brock Marionville chasing a 90-yard run.
To win your tickets, courtesy of Jenkins Hyundai and Genesis of Jacksonville on Atlantic.
One man, one hammer. One place to hear it drop. Hammer Time with Hayes, weekdays on The Frangie Show.
On 1010XL, driven by Kia on Atlantic. Southside Kia is now Kia on Atlantic.
This is Hayes Carlion for First Florida Credit Union. I bank with First Florida Credit Union because I trust them. I can always count on them when it comes to the vast services they provide. The online banking services are outstanding. So easy to use. Depositing checks through the mobile app is fast and efficient. I also go to the branch off 210 in St. Johns County and the Durbin location, but they have 10 branches in the Jacksonville area. You need to be banking with First Florida Credit Union. They're enriching people every day. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity Lender.
Family owned and managed for 20 plus years, Hidden Hills Golf Club boasts a unique and welcoming atmosphere. Visit us at hiddenhillsgc.com to book your next round on our Arnold Palmer signature course. You'll be glad you did.
I-9 Sports covers the First Coast with all kinds of sports for kids ages 3 to 17. Fall and winter registration is open right now, like girls volleyball at Duval Charter Bay Meadows, plus plenty of co-ed programs in the Tri-County area to keep your kids active. And being part of a team creates great camaraderie and commitment. Year-round sports all across the First Coast. St. John's, Duval, and Clay, sign up now for the fall and winter. It's all at i9sports.com. Enter 1010 in the promo code for a discount. That's i9sports.com.
This is Greg Huntington, a.k.a. The Mangler. I'm on the winning team at Waste Management. WM is the largest sustainability company in North America. If your business needs sustainable environmental services for waste removal and recycling collection, then you can count on the industry leader of WM to deliver results. Your services will be completed in a timely, safe, and eco-friendly manner. Go to WM.com/Duval. That's WM.com/Duval and get signed up today. If anyone can talk trash, it's The Mangler.
A new era of women's professional soccer has arrived. The Gainbridge Super League, redefining the game for the next generation. Sporting Jacks, the first ever pro women's team on the First Coast. Be there for history. Secure your tickets now at sportingjacks.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since '87.
All right, where have we been on the program today? We certainly talked Jaguars football, who stood out, what didn't in the second day of contact. We talked about De'Ami Brown, Hunter Long. A handful of guys had very good practices today. We certainly covered that today on the program. We certainly talked about Mike Norvell's decision not to allow the media at his practices. That's really a weird thing, not allow fans, media, the whole bit. And we talked a little bit about which coaches you'd want. We talked about the trade deadline in Major League Baseball and had a lot of fun talking about all that at a very fun time of year for baseball, football, and a whole lot more. So tomorrow, no practice.
That's right.
Got the morning off.
Morning off.
Yeah.
Yep. So be fun. You and I will do Duval Rundown.
Yeah,
904.
904.
So,
looking forward to that tomorrow.
Check us out if you want to get. We'll do kind of, we'll talk about some players that have built some momentum and maybe a couple that haven't. We're about a weekend, so you can't, you don't want to go crazy with overreactions to things, but we've seen enough now that you're at least getting some indication of some guys that are, particularly the guys I think that are trending well. So that'll be a lot of fun. But I will not miss the the alarm clock.
The wake up call. You know, the wake up call. So tell people about Duval Rundown, how they can find it.
Yeah, I mean, you just basically it's streaming. So anywhere that you would watch something, I do that more on Twitter than anywhere else. But Facebook, anywhere that you can stream anything, that's where you can find it.
Yeah, so
global, universal,
we are global,
intercontinental.
We are global. We'll talk a little bit more about this on the next couple of days of shows, and we have a practice on Thursday morning. That'll be our last one, and then until Sunday, really, because there's a scrimmage Friday night. And then I don't think they practice again until Sunday. What will you look for in the scrimmage? And we got a couple more days to talk about that. But as we sit here today on a Tuesday, what's your expectation?
I think it's interesting. I think it's going to be fairly high-spirited and with certainly elements of contact. But I will say we have no idea because Liam Cohen is a first-time head coach. And I will say the previous, I'd say 3 coaches, Bradley, I don't remember them practicing in the stadium. Maybe they did. It's just been so long.
Yeah.
But with like Marone and then Urban's only year and then Doug Peterson, it always felt like they kind of talked a big game and then the scrimmage was never really anything more than like a regular practice, just taking place in the stadium.
Yeah.
So I will be interested with Liam to see, does it feel different? Is it structured different? Because I'm kind of excited that it might be because he referred to it when he met with reporters yesterday as a mock game.
Yeah.
Which would indicate that it's going to be a mock game, which was going to be way more entertaining than just basically a 12-period practice where you're just doing basically what you would do at the Miller Electric Center in the morning. So I'm sort of optimistic that it will be one of the more entertaining things that we'll see prior to week 1. But previous administrations seemingly talked a big game, and then you got out there, and it was sort of, a normal everyday practice.
Head coaches who are offensive minds and got their head coaching job by calling plays and continue to call plays like scrimmages because they like calling plays. It's fun for them. It's a video game for them. They like calling plays. So because he's going to call plays and likes that, I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't have that feel to it. I also know, I know they're going to go through the process of getting dressed, running out on the field. Mm-hmm. All that's part of the dress rehearsal.
Yeah, they only have one preseason game at home.
That's right. So they want the whole practice of pregame meal, when to get dressed, when to come out of the locker room, warming up, back in the locker room and running back on the field. That sounds like easy stuff, but until you've done it, you haven't done it.
Yeah.
So I think all that's part of the whole paradigm of what they're trying to get accomplished. So it'll be fun. I am excited about watching the receiver sets. I think this is a team with a lot of offensive skill. Defense, it's hard to see as much in a scrimmage because they can't. The pass receiver and the quarterback. The receiver can run as hard as he wants, catch as many balls as he wants. The quarterback can throw it as far as he wants. The quarterback is not going to have any more energy, and the receivers any more energy than they'll have in a real game. Not the case with defense. The defense is not going to hit you as hard. They're not going to come flying off the edge as hard. They're not going to blow you up. They will in a game. So a scrimmage always generally will benefit the offense for that reason because they can get after it and the defense can't. So I expect some offense. And I think that's what people want to see on Friday night. I do.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, all these practices have been open, and it's been fantastic for the Jaguars to connect with their fan base for these several workouts so far. And there's many more coming up that are open, and certainly the scrimmages. But the fans cheer for the offense,
right? That's
I mean, if you hear a roar at all, it's for an offensive firework, not a great defensive play.
Yeah, and by the way, to that end, you're going to have a lot of fun if you're a fan. Let me remind you, and we'll tell you more about this. I'll have some details for you before the end of the week. But there is a lot of construction going on in the stadium. The big construction's next year when the stadium will be, the capacity will be half. We're not there yet, but there is a lot of construction. If you haven't been down there, you have been. But around the stadium, around the parking lot, so your parking circumstances are going to be different. You're going to be coached on where to park and how to park as the days kind of go along here. But the point of the story is get there early. It's good. I think what are they saying the official scrimmage? 7 to 9?
That's what I think.
I know we're doing a broadcast. We're actually going to broadcast it, a network broadcast. Jeff Lagerman and me in the booth, Bucky Brooks on the sideline. We're going to do our normal thing. And actually, I don't know. Let me correct that. Bucky's not going to be here. Kai Stevens will be on the sideline for us. But we're going to do our normal stuff for the scrimmage. And and we're going to be on 7 to 9. Our plan is a 7 to 9 broadcast. So I think that's when the heart of the real football happens. I think they may be on the field before that and warming up before that, but I think that's when all the stuff will happen. So I'm looking forward to it. It's something different. I think it helps the team to be in the stadium. It's something different. Right now, it's the same thing. As wonderful as that Miller Electric Center is, it's still practice, the practice field, the indoor, the outdoor. And now when you get in your game stadium, things feel a little bit different. And I think it will on Friday night. Let's say hello to Rick Ballou.
Now, the 2-minute drill on 1010XL.
Rick, what jumped out today, man? Second day of pads. What'd you see?
I thought a little feistier today. I think
Yeah.
he's trying to get sick of one another. Quinn Allen is interesting. It seems to be. He kind of reminds me of the Jaguars, Brad Marchand, if you will. Even though Marchand's 5'6", 150 pounds.
Right.
He seems like whenever he gets the ball, something happens, and there's a little extra out there, and you don't want to see anyone get hurt. But I'm sure they're getting sick of one another. So that's one thing that's interesting to me is ETN and Bigsby have had really good camps, and then Tootin goes down with that hamstring. But with Allen, and then you see Jackson today. Looks like they have a lot of really good running backs working.
Yeah, I think LaQuinn Allen might be their third down back. I think out of the gate he might on 3rd and 9 when you have your third down back in the game. I think he might. Now listen, Travis Etienne's very good at that, and he's very good in pass pro, not just. But I think LaQuinn Allen, who caught more passes than anybody in college football last year, as from the running back position, might be their third down back.
And it appears that both these rookies are pretty good in pass protection.
Yeah.
That's
third
down backs you usually don't have in pass pro. A lot of times they're, they dump down on the screen, but that stuck out today. I think it was the hottest practice that I can think of, certainly this year, and maybe one of the hottest practices that I can ever remember over there. Thank God that facility's brand new, the Miller Electric Center, and we could find some shade.
It was hot.
Yeah,
it was hot.
It was.
What's coming up tonight?
We got a lot tonight. Everything that I saw today, including a conversation with Hank Bigsby. We'll remember the great Ryan Sandberg. I can't believe he's gone at 65. It just makes no sense at all.
Yeah,
65's too young.
Yeah, I'm with you, and I told Hayes this earlier in the program, Rick. That's one that will hit everybody. I don't care if you're in Seattle, Phoenix, Peoria, or in Jacksonville, because you all watched him on WGN.
No doubt.
WGN and WTBS They brought Bob Horner and Dale Murphy and Leon Durham and Ryan Sandberg into your home.
Harry Carey.
When the other baseball players weren't there. So
Cubs and Braves, everyone got to see him no matter where they were.
Yeah.
And Sandberg was
he was the star of that team.
He was great. Yep.
Exactly. All right, Rick, thanks, buddy. Rick Ballou goes into the night, and that comes up right now. That'll do it for our program. Don't go anywhere. Rick is next. We'll see you tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. For Hayes and JJ, I'm Frank Frangie. So long.